Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. Lord of Shadow 2. Let's continue. So it took us about 40 minutes to get to this point, where we are old Dracula / Gabriel Belmont, and this is what was teased at the beginning of, well, at the end of the first game, is a Castlevania in a 3D open world in some kind of modern time frame. Now, what I can tell you immediately is it seems like I'm just covered in a cape and I can't really do anything other than walk very slowly, so clearly I'm probably just gonna walk forward and activate some kind of cutscene. Maybe find somebody homeless on the street to suck blood from. How Dracula's castle would have just stayed there is confusing. Zobek, aka Patrick Stewart,
help me, and I can free you of your immortality.
That's Zobek. He threw us out. So it almost seems like he may have been asleep for a while. I assume this is a ghost or vision of our son, Alucard / Travis Belmont. Interesting. Alright, so we're gonna follow this. So Zobek threw me out of the window, and
Please, God help you, sir.
I've got nothing to give her. Weird that there'd be a female homeless person to be animated.
Here, join some gear.
Sure. So either it's a case that the humans don't care about the castle, or they are just oblivious of it by some magic, like blinded from seeing it. I assume they're also blinded from seeing the fact that I totally, if I don't look like a vampire, I at the very least look like somebody who's done a whole lot of drugs and starved themselves for a very long time. So Satan's armies, and I guess demons, just exist. Interesting. And so with, I guess, killing demons, maybe I'll get my powers back. So oh man, I think I just got, you get knocked down and you can potentially see up his little skirt there. I cannot dodge, I cannot do anything. I'm losing, and I assume that's the point here. Is like, I can't dodge, I can't do anything. I'm so weak. So is this the Brotherhood still around? Or maybe that is Alucard. Although, who knows what happened to Alucard. Now it'd be rather disappointment if we're back into the past and we only got a small second of present day. But I wouldn't be surprised if there actually isn't too much. Oh, jeez. So we've got all these humans, and they're freaking out, and they attacked me first. Am I dying if I stay this way? So they're gonna make you as Dracula absorb them. Oh, I just chose not to feed, and so we have to return to a checkpoint. And you get, I guess, if you go back to the main menu, you'll get Dracula telling you his story, which he's saying it in the past tense, so so notice the storytelling that they're doing here is they're having the guy specifically attack you when you're just the girl bumps into you and the guy then attacks you. He doesn't even threaten me. So they want you to do something that is kind of against your morals. It probably needed more of a setup here, though, to get to this point. Like, if you were chained up and tortured in this same sequence first, then it might make some sense. Now the mother, like, so yeah, you're getting into this, like, you are Dracula, you're going to be the bad guy, you're going to do the bad thing. There was a couple of games where you played as the bad guy in an open world game that were pretty good, or at least the first one was, that came out around these times, or maybe a few years earlier. And you're gonna kill the girl too. One assumes that you were locked in there to feed on those humans. Maybe not. Maybe just a coincidence there. And maybe these little thumb jewelry things are how you activate your magic. They definitely look a lot better now. They seem to have a weird way in which they're animating Dracula's underarms.
It pleases me to see you recovered, old friend.
Still have no clue who Zobek is.
Indeed.
Was he the leaderhood of the Brotherhood?
Relax. Our guest is just a little confused. I know what he wants. You see before you the legendary vampire killer. Your old weapon, if you recall. The only weapon capable of ending your immortal life.
How are you making it float?
You thought it destroyed. But you see, you can have the eternal rest you crave after all.
It's a hologram.
First, you must help me. Prevent Satan's return to the world. Then, I swear to you, I will deliver the fatal blow to your heart myself.
And I am sure you will fulfill that vow.
I suspect
Since you sent Satan back to
Zobek is going to work
his human
with Satan.
offspring, or acolytes as they call themselves, have been dormant. I suppose that all of us, feared your wrath and great power. But
So
not now.
single-handedly, you've been stopping the
Even my
apocalypse for
bodyguard is more
1,000
than a
years.
match for you. The acolytes know you are weak and are preparing for their father's return.
Look
Now
how
they
dead
fear
Zobek's eyes are. They're just not animated well at all.
Don't they fear the mighty?
Probably was a few years before facial scans
Only you
in AAA games
in
became
full possession
consistent.
of your powers can defeat them.
Like, his lower half
Follow
of his face is moving
Please.
when he speaks, but the top half of his head is not.
We must find and destroy the acolytes.
This
before
is
they can
probably the
finalize
series.
their preparations
If
for
Konami
Satan's
cared about
return.
making games, this is probably one of the
It
series
won't
they
be
should remaster and put out as like
They
a
govern the world of men from the shadows.
Ultra 4K
Not
HD
even
edition.
I know with any degree of certainty who or where they are. They won't come out into the light unless we can force their hand.
There's only 2
The
bodies,
acolytes must never
not the
know
kids.
who hunts them down.
So maybe you didn't kill the
The
kid.
element of surprise will give us the advantage. Until you are at full strength again.
And you don't know who they are or where they are.
Do you know that this city is built upon the foundations of your castle? The acolytes are focusing their attentions here for very good reason. Satan has specifically chosen this place for his return. He means to enslave you first, to humiliate you for what you did to him.
And one
Let's get
assumes
on with it.
that this is the equivalent of some Middle Eastern city, like Middle Eastern country, because I guess that's just a general idea. And this looks like part of the castle in
The
Castlevania,
acolytes
definitely.
must plunge the world into chaos before Satan can be summoned. Their activities leave spectral traces, which are difficult but not impossible to follow.
Seems like magic is very abound
This
in the
is the
Castlevania
headquarters
castle.
of a powerful pharmaceutical corporation.
Really, it looks like
I
a castle.
suspect that one of the acolytes is operating from there. The complex was sealed 2 months ago and is protected by magic. If I were to use my powers to see what is happening there, they would be able to trace it back to me within a matter of minutes. So, I will send you to the corporation via a portal. But we must be quick so as not to arouse
The
suspicion.
Castlevania idea of
The
mixing
longer the portal remains
technology
open, the
and
more
magic
likely
will,
we be
I
discovered.
suppose, be a lot different in modern times than it
Look for
was
any sign of the acolyte,
in old times,
but be careful.
What are you waiting for?
because now they have holograms and I don't even know if the portal is magic or if that's technology or if it matters. I will say I don't like the way Dracula looks in his costume. At least have that red overcoat. Like I don't need to see the pale blue back of a vampire through the entirety of a game. And almost every Devil May Cry-esque game has the male characters wearing some kind of duster or jacket or something. So, by establishing portals, we don't have a completely connected open world, which is fine, you know. Usually, most games that try to connect the entirety of open worlds do it in such terrible ways that it's not interesting anyways. Crackdown's a great example of that, where thank goodness for that. Yeah, Crackdown is basically 4 islands, and press back to open it. We don't have a back button on Xbox One controllers anymore. That's now the share menu, secondary menu button. This is your travel back. Use it to find and select your missions at any time. Main mission, I must investigate the corporation. We have a map, and let's see. Left bump, we have some skills. This is a skills page for your travel book. Use it to buy new skills and see the mastery level of your weapons. Okay. Can we... let's see. Buy skills? We have nothing to buy anything with yet. That's not surprising. Basic actions. So we kind of would want to just click through all of these. We were shown these in the tutorials, although I don't think we were shown sprint. Area attack is, I think we did in the tutorial. Block is just timed. Press and hold left trigger, synchronized. Press left trigger at the specific time. Dodge is just holding left and going in a direction. Stomp is left trigger and A. We didn't do that. Grab and interact is press B. We did that. Experience points. All of this is just going to be a big book, which it's not a terrible idea for a menu, but it does leave a lot of black empty space around the edges. So what's the world map look like? You can now access a greater number of secrets with your new skills. Science desires. I don't believe I have any of the DLC that would have given me more items or elements. So I'm just playing this the way it would be played by most cheap people, and that's probably the right way to play it. A lot of times you get DLC and it ruins the experience because it makes it too easy, even though I am playing this on easy. This is item pages of your travel book. Use it to find out what weapons and powers, special objects you have. So we have the Heart of Dracula, which are cool, and we have the Shadow Whip. And these are just kind of concept arts more than telling me anything about it. And then lore. Lore pages. Use this to find out more about Castlevania world and the inhabitants. So we have the Belmont lineage of Dracula, the Brotherhood of Light. So we've fought a soldier, a paladin, and a siege Than. What is it? Siege Thun? And then the Zobek Society. Zobek, who together with Carmilla and Cornell, one of the old founders of the Brotherhood of Light, who let's see, who answered the call of God, leaving the darkest beings on earth. The Lord of Death, however, despite his absolute mastery of necromantic magic, could do nothing against the supremacy of Satan, and his existence was regarded to the kingdom of relegated to the kingdom of the lifeless. Exhausted and humiliated, he remained hidden for an era, watching over the world of men, blah 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 blah. So I don't know how much Zobek played in the first game, but he does seem like one of the characters in season 2 of the Netflix series, although that character looks completely different. In fact, trying to make any comparisons to the Netflix series here is just going to be a nightmare. Alright. Current mission is marked on the map. There's something here on under skills. I can't afford any of these, so I might as well just leave these where they are. Let's just X attacks, Y does this. We've just acquired some artwork and some more artwork. Interesting. So you can see all the artwork you've collected. So I can just destroy small things but not cars. There we go. Alright. I half suspect I would be able to either jump on this or move that, but that doesn't seem like that's happening. It seems like even though I can jump rather high, I cannot jump off the edges. We've got a nice looking area around here. Those flying pieces of paper, I imagine, mean nothing. Interesting. I can jump on top of this? Well, then answer this question. Why can I not jump on top of this? Probably because they realized that if they let me jump on top of this, then I would be able to jump up high enough to get to this point, and they didn't want people wasting a bunch of time around attempting to do all of that. I was not expecting to unlock a bunch of artwork, though. This seems odd. Seems odd that we would start unlocking all of that really, really quickly. We can't do anything with these big trash cans. We did find 50 coins. There's nothing water. In the Netflix series, they talk about how crossing flowing water could kill a vampire, but I imagine that would not be used as any part of this story, because that would be far too common. We now have enough experience points to unlock our first skill. This is a page for buying skill user experience to acquire new skills. So I have 150. Which one can I buy that costs 150? This one, somersault. So skill acquired. Interesting that it seems like there are some central points where you can start to get skills, and fairly quickly we'll probably unlock all the skills, or all the basic ones at least. Now, it's a little bit of a struggle to work around. This is a memorial. Chronicles of the Ancient Light. On this exact spot is a memorial where the known of the Chronicles of the Ancient Light were discovered 500 years ago. These apocryphal texts detail the horrific experiences of those who managed to escape from the claws of Dracula. Most of them lost their mind and parts of their bodies too, devoured by ghouls, vampires, and harpies. These survivors soon died of the most awful infections and deliriums. However, a few mercilessly managed to remain safe and sound thanks to the maps of the inside of the castle and precise tales of the horrors that took place inside were pieced together. I was the great Renaud de Roncaval, Paladin of God, who made military use of those maps, gaining knowledge of the castle that, in hindsight, was crucial to defeating the Prince of Darkness. So, what I'm thinking happens in the Castlevania games, because there's a kind of an implication that many Belmonts and many other enemies tried to defeat Dracula between the scenes we saw in the past and now. And what I think the implication here is that Dracula just sleeps in his coffin and he doesn't really know what's going on. And it is very much just a case of the lower demons and minions in the castle protect it, either because they're under some obligation or spell, and if a Belmont dies before he even makes it to Dracula, he doesn't even know about it. And if a Belmont makes it to Dracula, can be broken with your shadow daggers. Press and hold right trigger to aim at your shadow dagger shots. Okay. Interesting. Interesting to have daggers in the first place. I would also kind of assume that there's a bit of a understanding here that well, we have something new that we can unlock and read. A new projectile item. That if Dracula does fight a Belmont and he is defeated, he is extremely weak and possibly forgets that experience and has to sleep for several years to recover that. I noticed in that cutscene there are some rats to the right of the screen. I wonder if Dracula will be left to eating rats to recover his health.
I sense the presence of a Golgoth guard. You are no match for this enemy. Hide.
Yeah, this does not feel like Castlevania. This looks like a terrible Doom clone. Right.
I can hide there.
So, I guess if I'm just in the dark, I can possess a rat. Use the left stick to exit the shadow portal. Need to stop drinking grog. I'm hallucinating. Interesting. This is certainly... Oh, come on. I think I may have trapped myself. These rats, I don't think will get out of my way. And so I've accidentally... They've found a way to trap me. Okay.
Use the unguarded dark area to recover your appearance.
So, this creature that doesn't seem like... rats cannot crawl over that? Okay. So it doesn't seem to care about rats. It won't try and squeeze them, squash them or anything like that. So then we go back to that dark area and just sneak around. And I have no idea what language that guy was speaking. Is that some kind of demonic thing? It's not just a matter of possessing.
The guard hasn't seen you. Get close to him and use your power of possession, if you remember how to use it.
Alright. So you have to sneak up behind him, and we're gonna do more stealth. This definitely is not Castlevania-ish at all. This is not what you do in a Castlevania game. You usually they're 2D platformers where you're just hacking with a whip and trying to kill everything. Alright. I'm losing health by the second.
My blood is destroying this being. I don't have much time.
So I need to... You're not going to do a long runs of this.
Access growth.
I feel like we might run back in this area and see if there are any collectibles. This feels a lot like that game Parasite. I think that's the name of it. Not Parasite Eve, but there definitely was a game series where you were this black ooze creature that could possess all of the non-playable characters running around in all of New York. I thought the first game was pretty good. Unfortunately, I guess the second game didn't succeed as well as they would have liked, so it never made it to a trilogy status. Yeah, unless there was some reason that the rat could now get in this area. I feel like we're coming back to this area, that area later. Otherwise, I'm just immediately missing something. And when I'm over here, can I hide in the dark? Yes. So even if you don't see rats, there's something. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of verticality in this. So they're changing how the game plays. Close the sluice gates of the lock. That's a weird word. Sluice gates.
Emitting decontaminating nanoparticles. Remain in the center of the hatch. Decontamination successful. Initiating hatch opening.
I assume that is just a loading section. Just deloading what was on the map before this point. That's an example of a game that nowadays you really wouldn't need that because there's a lot more RAM, but I could imagine when this came out that you would need to have a lot of these load gate sections. So we're still very much in tutorial mode. We have, let's see, we have a combed whip, we have a rising whip, we have an aerial whip. We can get combed sweep, rising sweep, and aerial sweep. I think we probably just want combined whip. It's not combed, it's combined. So yeah, just for the most part we're going to be pressing B, well X quite a lot. So that makes sense. Main mission is still the same. And we have Goliath guards. A lot of this stuff I'm not going to bother to read. One thing I will say is we are doing pretty good. Let's see. Just look at how many pieces of art have we unlocked already. We might as well just start looking at this next recording. And stats wise, we have collected 12% of all artwork. Maybe the game is not super big. I'm liking the game that we're having here, but it definitely doesn't feel like a Castlevania game. It feels like it's using the Castlevania name to do something different. We saw this with Konami with the latest Metal Gear Survive game that they made, which was a just cheap, terrible survival game with the Metal Gear name on it. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.